Today we're going to make homemade fried beans or regular beans that you use with barbecue and that type of stuff. Basically, what we have here, we've got a nice crock pot, good size. We've got 2 pounds of beans. Sometimes I'll use 2 to 3 because I'm going to make enough so I can come back and put it in the icebox to freeze. The reason I like to do it this way is simply I do not like the preservatives and that type of stuff that are already in the canned products. I found in the past with a big can of beans, I'd open them and throw them away. If I come back in, make them, get them in the icebox frozen, then I can use them as I need. So we got the crock pot, I got a colander. Now what we're going to do, we're going to come over here, and it's always good to check the beans. They're a lot better than they used to be. They used to have a lot of colds or bad beans in them, and you need to pick those out because it will sour the beans. So you just come over here, mix them up, and I'm looking down there, and if you look down here, that might be a bad one. See how that one looks right there? You're just looking for any black or darkened type beans, and we're just kind of rinsing them off, making them a little bit clean. Okay, we're going to let that sit there for just a second. Over here, what I've done, I've got the crock pot. You can see I've got it about 3/4 of the way full. I found, and you'll have to play with this just a little bit, depending upon the amount of beans that you want. You don't want to come back in and have not enough water in. You want at least a couple of inches over the top. And the reason for that is you're going to come back in, you're going to cook these. They're going to sit on 6 to 8, maybe 10 hours. You know, you might make them in the morning or whatever, but you need to have enough water in because they'll start drying out. But I'll show you later, if there's not enough water after 4 to 6 hours, you come back and you get some hot water and add it. So these have kind of rinsed a little bit here. Now we're just going to go ahead and dump them in there. And you can, if you look here, there's a lot of extra liquid. And what that's going to do, it's going to kind of boil it down. Now, put the top on. As you notice, I did not add any of the seasonings in because the beans will not accept them until they start softening. About the last 2 hours when I start adding all the ingredients. I like the chili powder. I like a little cumin. Of course, your salt and pepper, and then the spice of life. And you got a little bit of garlic. But none of that will go in until we come back 4 to 6 hours, depending upon your crock pot, how it cooks. So we're going to put this on. Now the reason we're doing this today, I'm over here in Mobile, Alabama with my son. We were going to go down to the Mardi Gras parade because of the rains that canceled it. So we're sitting around the house, and we've been here 2 weeks, and guess what? We've already eaten all the beanos. It's time to make some more.
All right, so we got 2 pounds of pinto beans, a bit of water, maybe 2 or 3 inches above, and we're going to set it on high for. Okay, so 6 hours of a lot of rain later, we've got the beans, 2 pounds of pinto beans that have been cooking. They weren't soaked overnight, but they were washed before we put them in a pot, and then just start them for 6 hours and let them go. That's all we've done to it so far.
And now we're at the point that, let me get a bean out and show you the consistency of the bean. We're going to come down here, you can see it's starting to mash. Now, we're going to come back and start adding the spices. Let it cook a little hour. They're probably a little overcooked, but it's not going to hurt. Chili powder. 2 pounds of beans, I'd say at least 1 good tablespoon, maybe a half. All right, mix that in a little bit. Greatest product in the world when it comes to beans is a little ground cumin. I'm just going to eyeball this. That's about a teaspoon. We didn't add any salt or any other type of stuff in it. 2 little pinches of salt. Brown peppers. We're going to come back in and cut those up just a little bit. Just take a second here. lots of garlic, probably I usually will use a little more than that. And did we add the salt?
Yes.
Okay. And a little ground pepper. About a teaspoon. And the reason you do it this way is you come back in and you do it, put the stuff in that doesn't have, the spices won't mix it in with the beans. So that's what we got right there. Now, if you like a little beer, you can add a little beer to it, but now when I'm cooking beans to come back in and eat, I'll do it that way, but we're going to basically use, we kind of had a little lazy night, went to a little run this morning, put the beans out, and you can come over and take a look. They're kind of nice and soft and everything. They've been seasoned up. So all we're going to do is we're going to come over and start putting the beans in the pot.
So this is the start of the refrying process?
This is the start of the refrying process. There's a little bit much to dump at one time, so, and it's got all the seasoning, and you can see 2 pounds of beans makes a lot of beans, and you can make a lot of refried beans. Now, if you want, you could take some of this and beans and save them for just regular old beans, but what I always said on this, and I think I mentioned it earlier, was what I like about this is it's no preservatives, and you can put it in the amount that you want. All right, if you come back over, you can see the amount of liquid that's in it. What we've done, we've taken the excess over there because this is going to boil down and it's going to steam out. If we need more, we can add it back in. Now, the beans we kind of showed you yesterday, you can see the kind of consistency. They break up very easily there. If they're real hard, it just takes too long. Now, all you need to do is come over and get a masher, potato masher, boat motor, and we'll use a mixer because that's all my son has. I've got the other stuff at the house. And you can see we're just going to sit here and mash. 3 minutes later, we've taken a little mixture, and you can look now and you can see the beans are starting to really get broken up. You don't have to make it real creamy. I like to have a little bit of the whole beans in there. And that's pretty much the consistency and the texture if you'll come over and take a look. Now, we're just going to turn this on the low. What it'll do, it'll steam the liquid out, and you'll have a nice consistency of